pedal my way back. Sorry, I can't hear you.
Aquaman! It's just, why do you deviate from our agreement? It's not about her doing films. How do you think she got Aquaman, sir?
You heard Miss Heard say, "Get off me," right?
No, I did not.
This wasn't the first time that you talked about Amber hitting the wall hard. Let's pull up Exhibit 213, please.
Hitting the wall hard based on the
We'll just take a look at the
accusations
next
that she
exhibit, Mr.
brought.
Depp.
I'm sorry, I was talking. Is that all right?
You had answered my question. We'll take a look at the next exhibit.
As long as you're happy, sir.
I felt this pressure. He thought he was punching me.
Sean Bailey, who was the number 3.
Objection, hearsay.
I don't know yet. I'll overrule it at this point.
May I continue, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Just basically said in the...
Objection, hearsay.
Your
What
Honor,
Sean Bailey said.
this is about him
It's in
learning
an
about this.
article.
It's not for the.
saying that...
Objection, hearsay.
Last week, Mr. Rottenborn asked you about a quote where you said you wouldn't come back to the Pirates franchise for $300 million and a million alpacas. Do you remember that?
I do.
What? When relative to...
That's correct. We don't have cameras in the video. Sorry, we don't have cameras at the hallway. We don't have cameras on the hallway.
She brought up the situation of her fecal matter on the bed, and and she just tried to blame it on the dogs. That's what the opiate does. The dopamine and serotonin, as you know, I imagine, are things that keep us it gives us our moods. It gives us.
I appreciate that, but my question wasn't that. My question was,
I'm just trying
right
to
after
school
you told
you.
the
line. So the was May 20.
You didn't know what could cause damage to Mr. Depp's hand while you were there on March 8th, correct?
Dr. Kipper told me he sustained an injury on one of his fingers.
Objection, hearsay.
What time that you did move in with him?
Objection leading. I'm going to object on hearsay.
My co-star.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay. Objection, hearsay.
It was fine.
Objection,
that it was
hearsay.
with Paul
Objection,
Bettany.
hearsay.
You said.
Objection, hearsay. Objection leading.
Or on the street. You need to
Objection,
move it.
hearsay. That calls for hearsay, Your Honor.
Assuming the plan was to do
Objection,
the
Your Honor.
detox.
Hearsay. Objection, form, compound.
Did you have any discussions with Miss Heard on the way to Coachella that evening?
We had a conversation pertaining to the surprise she left in the boss's bed.
And when you refer to the surprise in the boss's bed, what are you referring to?
The defecation.
A few things about Coachella, and then the fecal delivery, saying that it was the dogs. And I'm sorry, I could not agree with her. It was not the dogs.
But in fact, you don't recall seeing Amber Heard on May 24th, correct?
I don't remember. I don't even remember what I got for breakfast.
Okay.
Insider from 2015 that says Johnny Depp has his 5th box office bomb in a row.
If that's what it said, it said. Are you just going to keep reading this?
And you would
Who's
agree
everybody?
that before the op-ed there was negative publicity for Mr. Depp about assassinating President Trump. Would you agree?
No, I missed that one. I don't particularly remember that. I have a lot of stuff in front of me.
Did it mention Mr. Depp? That's what I asked you.
Well, does she have another husband who abused her
But
in
did it talk about it?
2016?
Did it talk?
Mr. Drew, who was a chef, which I don't believe is hearsay.
But I've just never seen that. Driving that. Yeah, that did it.
Why are you here? I am here because my ex-husband is suing me for an op-ed I wrote. And how do you feel about that? I struggle to have the words. I struggle to find the words to describe how painful this is. This is horrible for me to sit here for weeks.
Do you remember the first time that he physically hit you?
Yes.
Please tell the jury about it.
It was so. It's seemingly so stupid, so insignificant. Continued to drink, and then eventually started howling like an animal.
Just, I mean, there's part of it that the noise of the airport.
Passed out in a chair during daylight hours.
Again, isn't passed out, that's a very specific term. Sleep could be one.
You're complaining about her ambition in this text to her, to Dr. Kipper, correct?
I'm realizing that her ambition is far stronger than her supposed feelings for me, yes.
And you tell Dr. Kipper, I cut the top of my middle finger off in this text, correct?
It's just the way it was worded. It doesn't mean that I actually literally cut my finger off after, at the age of 12, finding the only thing that gave me peace, which is playing the guitar. Very unlikely. Why didn't I start lopping off digits when I was 13 then?
Just the way it was worded. Now, Ms. Heard.
Did you provide a copy of this pamphlet to Amber Heard?
I did not. I did not identify her as a victim of domestic violence.
Is that the sole reason why you did not give that to Amber Heard?
Yes, we only give them to victims of domestic violence.
I'm going to ask you to take a...
At this point, Your Honor, Ms. Heard's counsel is asking to move into evidence and publish to the jury.
About 9 years. Isn't it true that while he was on the mezzanine level and Ms. Heard and her sister were there, that he was reaching for Amber's hair while he was trying to hit her with that cast, correct?
That is not correct.
And it's possible that she was standing in between Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard then, correct?
No.
Well, in fact, you saw Mr. Depp push or shove Whitney Heard, correct?
Absolutely not.
And it was only after Mr. Depp pushed Whitney that Amber stepped forward and punched him in the face. Isn't that right?
That is not correct.
Really, I didn't understand why they want me to do that. Like, oh, I don't know.
Do you have a drinking problem, Johnny?
Objection calls for hearsay.
Sure, he's saying what the doctors told him.
I think that's what's about to be testified to.
Oh.
Let me ask you a different question, Mr. Depp.
Yes. Let's let him object to another one. Ms. Heard could very easily drink 2 bottles of wine per night, not a speed, if you will. Called, I don't know if I can say the name. Am I allowed to say the name?
At the beginning of her opening, Ms. Heard's counsel mentioned that the first time you supposedly struck Ms. Heard was in response to a comment about one of your tattoos.
Yes, I remember.
And what is your response to that?
It didn't happen. I've never struck Miss Heard. As I said yesterday, I've never struck Miss Heard. I've never struck a woman in my life.
Would you agree that if you did not find something that would be in favor of Mr. Depp and negative to Ms. Heard, that you wouldn't be an expert in this case? Essentially, bring you into court if you're going to say that Ms. Heard is right and Mr. Depp is wrong, correct?
So as a forensic psychologist, my obligation is to the court, is to the fact finder. I present science regardless of what that science may be. Now, when I take a case, my retainer agreement is explicit about that, and I discuss that with the attorneys.
I'm asking you a question. I'd like you to try to answer my question. You understand that if you found favorably to Ms. Heard and negatively to Mr. Depp, you wouldn't be here, right? You wouldn't be testifying.
Objection, speculative.
No, okay, sorry.
Hold on.
That's not speculation.
No, I'll sustain the objection if you want to ask.
Okay. If it goes to bias, Your Honor.
Let's talk about makeup for a moment. So you don't know what type of makeup regimen Amber uses every day, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And in fact, you don't, and would you agree that there are a number of different types of makeup you can use that would still give you a natural look? There's sun in the Bahamas, right?
Most of the time.
Do you number wears for sunscreen?
No, I wouldn't have asked if somebody has skin condition.
Like get on set, get with James Franco? Did you hear that?
I don't recall.
Did you hear him say at least you liked it?
No.
Did you hear him say I bet you slipped a tongue in there and you liked it?
No.
Did you hear him say make references to Amber's and asking her if her was wet?
Your Honor, lack of foundation, harassment.
Did you hear any of that?
No, not that I recall.
I'll overrule the objection. It's fine.
Thanks. And they feel paranoid?
Yes.
And they feel frightened?
Yes.
Afraid that everyone's going to believe the perpetrator, correct?
Yes.
And in fact, they're afraid they're going to lose their security.
There was another article in 2015 that says, quote, has Johnny Depp become Hollywood's biggest joke?
I don't know. Netflix has a whole festival going now. Netflix is a joke.
And you'd agree that there is an article in